You have to be 28 years old to finish your RAF. My future is nothing coming true. My dreams didn't come true. All my life it's been very badness, very worse. I've never been happy in my life. I didn't have a happy time in my life.
Only 10 kilometers from the Belgian border, the historic town of Dunkirk seems like a peaceful place to live. But opposite this quiet rural estate lies the Grande-Synthe refugee camp. In September, the government-controlled campsite contained only 300 inhabitants, but as of February, this number stands at over 4,000. In January, the French government passed a law which set up a blockade for supplies to reach the campsite. This includes necessities like food, shelter, blankets, and sanitary items. The camp is made up of 62.5% men, and the remaining percentage is made up of women and children. This means there are as many as 1,500 women and children incapable of keeping themselves fed and healthy. On the 20th of January, this law was lifted for just one day. We decided to visit Grande-Synthe and observe the standard of living. Following the installation of gas-powered storage containers in Calais, Grande-Synthe has set up 6 teepees for their most vulnerable families, as well as a number of other gas-powered homes. Ahmad Aziz was kind enough to invite us into his home and tell us about his journey, including his son Oscar's brush with death.
When we arrived here, and firstly, it was to keep raining and heavy windy raining.
Yeah.
And Oscar was close to die. His heart has been stopped. Oscar was keep crying. He was very, very illness, but no more than here. His eyes is closed, because it was very dirty. We've been in the tent like this tent, 2,000 people. They put 2,000 people in the like this small tent. I've gone to the street. I made the cars to stopping for us. They didn't stop. I said, my babies, nobody stopped. It was very bad. When we gone to hospital, he was in coma.
Bristol-based charity Aidbox have only 8 full-time volunteers who are willing to give their time. We spoke to Phoenix Clo about how the camp has coped with a huge influx of struggling families.
When we were first coming, we were the only volunteers who'd ever come. There were men walking around in women's sandals that were 4 sizes too small. And there was none of this, like the amount of volunteers that are here at the moment, being not a weekend is like an incredible difference even to a couple of weeks ago. But now having these distribution centres and stuff, and it's there is more stuff coming in, and it means that because even though there's racism within the camp that prevents certain people from receiving things that they need.
The camp is made up of mainly Kurdish people, but there are also many men and women from Syria and Iraq. Solidarity rallies the camp, and despite the terrible living situation, everybody finds peace in thinking positive. The camp amenities include large sinks which provide drinking water and a space to clean plates. There's a newly installed canteen where people can receive meals. There are charging stations for people to keep in contact with their loved ones, and there are toilets, although there is only one for every 100 people in the camp. Despite all these advancements in the site, people are here for one reason only: to cross the border into the UK.
How long do you think you might be here for? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
And the goal is England.
Yes.
Do you have any preference as to where you'd like to go in England? Have you ever been before?
No, just I want to go.
Just want to go, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what you'd do there if you got to England?
I don't know, just I go to Spain for England. I don't know what's gonna be. I'm come from Turkey, Greece, pass to by boat to Italy to France. I want to pass, go to England.
So I have my children born in Manchester, and I have wife, and I have 2 children. Sometime try bring the van inside. Police don't let. At night time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock morning, he come 2 children and put the light on his face. Is not nice. People from this kind of very bad life you have. Thank you for all English people. And I'm soldier. We are from Kurdistan, you know. We fight with ISIS, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we fight. All the people come here, all Peshmerga. Our army we call Peshmerga.
I used to live the bad, worst life, you know, services, no food, hungry. For me, I don't mind. Because when I was born, war on Iran and Iraq, 8 years. We didn't eat even one day safely. 2010, I gone back to Kurdistan. I want to stay there. And I got married, and 2011, 12, until 3 years I stayed there. Became a Peshmerga. Then another fight against Kurdish terrorists. I said just for Oscar. All my dream, everything I do just for Oscar to do, because I didn't have nothing for me. My future, my life is you know, it's finished. But I want Oscar to have nice life.
Hearing these people's stories, it's impossible not to feel compassion. And whilst donations are an incredible gesture of goodwill, Aidbox volunteer Maddie Harris tells us exactly what is needed.
Really, the most useful thing people at home can do is to be writing letters to politicians and lobbying the government and communicating the situation with charities and sharing with everybody what's going on, and essentially expressly saying to the British government, your immigration system does not work, and that there needs to be some changes made, that there are very vulnerable people, children, families, women, unaccompanied minors, young men in these situations who are at risk, and that the British government believes that the system is working, and quite clearly it's not. So, you know, I think anyone with contacts, it's a case of, you know, many voices is better than one. And if everybody's saying the same thing, then that's harder to ignore. Absolutely.
What Maddie says is such an important statement. The only way to put a stop to this is to involve yourself directly. We should all be pushing for a more welcoming and inclusive government.